Hello, everybody. This is Cruisin with Ted. Today we are featuring a live presentation of Silverseas, and we do have the pleasure of having Karl Kannstadter from Silverseas. He specializes in the expedition side of Silverseas, which you know is a large portion of their business. And today we are going to feature the Galapagos Islands. Okay, so this is something that's very unique to Silversea. Not many cruise lines actually go there, particularly a large cruise line like Silversea. So, without any further ado, Karl, why don't you take it away and tell
Sure.
us more about this amazing adventure?
Thank you so much, Ted, and welcome everybody who's watching us live, and welcome those of you who are watching the recording afterwards. So, as Ted said, my name is Karl Kannstadter, and I'm the Director of Expedition Sales for Silversea Cruises. So, I have the pleasure of going on and talking about some of these voyages on very small ships to some of the most remote parts of the world. And something that these places have in common, Antarctica, the Arctic, the Galapagos, is that these are destinations that are very, very difficult to get to on your own, if not impossible to get to on your own. You want to go with somebody who knows what they're doing. Today, Ted wanted me to talk a little bit more specifically about the Galapagos and our voyage to the Galapagos, the ship that we use, and what a day in the life is like when we're in the Galapagos. Ted, do you have a few more slides, or you want me to switch over to mine?
No, you go ahead. And when you're done, just the way this will work is if you have any questions, like we mentioned earlier, we'll have them post them in the chat, and then some of our Cruising with Ted team will help take care of that and voice the questions. But go ahead, get
Okay,
started.
thank you so much. So the voyage begins with a flight to Quito on Thursday. We operate this voyage every week. Saturday to Saturday is the sailing, so you're on board for 7 nights. But we start with 2 nights in Quito. So from South Florida, it's a 3.5 hour flight to Quito. It's not as far away as it seems. Ecuador is really quite close. And although the Galapagos sound, and they are very remote and very exotic, again, from South Florida, it's relatively close. From Miami, it's a 3.5 hour flight. And I know not all of you may be in Miami, but just to put it in context, then we spend 2 nights in Quito. And Old Quito is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, beautiful old colonial Spanish architecture, cobblestone streets, great old cathedrals, and gorgeous architecture. So it's a lovely, lovely place to get set up and get ready for this voyage. So 2 nights there, Thursday and Friday. And then on Saturday, we all fly as a group over to the Galapagos Islands. Remember, the Galapagos are 700 miles off the coast of Ecuador. So the voyage does not begin in mainland Ecuador. You fly over to the islands because it's 700 miles to get there. So we get to the Galapagos, we board the ship, we're on board the ship for 7 nights. And then the following Saturday, we fly back from the islands to Guayaquil, which is the coastal town and also the capital of Ecuador. There's a day room for guests to rest and rest up for what is typically an overnight flight back home. And the door to door package, if you're interested and you start chatting with the folks at Cruising with Ted about this, the door to door package includes a limo coming to your home and picking you up, taking you to the airport, your international flights, your 2 nights in Quito, the domestic flights, all of the transfers, 7 nights on board. Once you're on board, everything is included. Butler service for everybody, Wi-Fi unlimited for everybody. Tell us how you want your bar stocked. Tell us how you want your bar fridge stocked. You're never signing a chit. You're never paying for anything. Excuse me. Gratuities are included. Absolutely everything included. Your return flight to mainland Ecuador, all the transfers, that day room I mentioned, and your international flight back home. And when you get to your home airport, there's a limo driver standing there with a sign with your name on it, ready to take you back to your home. That's our door to door fare. We also have a port to port fare. If you're not interested in the limo driver, if you want to use points to get there or not use our air, there's also a port to port fare, and there are some significant savings to be had if you choose the port to port fare. So that's the timeline. Once we get to Quito, we use one of two hotels. This is the nicer of the two, so you can upgrade to this one. This is called the Casa Gangotena, an old colonial mansion in one of the squares in Quito that has been refurbished and turned into a small boutique hotel, perfectly located right in downtown, the old part of Quito. Absolutely lovely. These are the flight schedules. So we take off on Saturday morning at 10:30, and when we fly back, we're back in Guayaquil, Ecuador at around 1:30 the following Saturday. These are 737s that fly over there. Nothing much bigger than this can fly over to the Galapagos because the landing strips or the runways are not that big. But that's good because it means that we don't have all that much traffic in the Galapagos. There are about 240,000 people a year that visit the Galapagos, and that number has been pretty static over the last number of years. And again, it can't increase that much because of the length of the runways. They can't take in bigger jets than this, and they only fly between daybreak and dusk. So there's only about 12 hours in the day where they can fly over. So we don't anticipate those numbers of tourists growing too much. And the Galapagos National Park Service and the government of Ecuador and the government of the Galapagos don't want those numbers to grow too much. So arriving in arriving in the Galapagos, then our team is there waiting, and it's a very short ride from the airport to the pier. And this is some of the team, the expedition team. And what's unique in the Galapagos is that all of the expedition team are permanent residents of the Galapagos. They have to have permanent residency in the Galapagos in order to become a National Park Service guide. Not anyone from anywhere in the world can just sign up and because you're a marine biologist, show up in the Galapagos and say, I'd like to get a guide as a job. You have to be a permanent resident. The idea being, when we travel to the Galapagos and we spend this money, some of it stays there because these are the guides that we employ. Okay, here's a great little video to sort of kick things off.
Galapagos is unique because this is one of the few places on Earth where you're actually accepted as part of the environment. These species are not running away or flying away. In certain cases, they're coming up to you. And that makes this place truly unique. Something that surprises many people is the diversity of Galapagos. Not only the terrain, which is distinct from one island to the next, but also the diversity of life. We have a unique diversity. In areas where you have reptiles such as sea turtles swimming next to penguins, there's nowhere else on Earth that you have that combination. Being a naturalist on the Silver Galapagos is not only fascinating for me because of this environment that we're traveling through, but also meeting our guests that are coming in here and seeing Galapagos through their eyes and the excitement of being able to interact with the species here. It's very personal. There's no other place like Galapagos on Earth.
And that is so true. There's no other place on Earth like the Galapagos. And Jason is, he's American, obviously, by birth. You can tell from his, whoops, sorry, we went ahead a little bit there. But he went to the Galapagos as a marine biologist and met and fell in love with a young Galapagena and lives there now and has a family and is one of our guides. The Silver Origin. So this will be your home for the week. This is one of 4 ships that Silversea had delivered during the pandemic. This ship was completed, construction was completed in June of 2020. She sailed across the Atlantic, through the Panama Canal and down to the coast of Ecuador, where she waited about a year before we were able to sail again. And we started sailing in June of 2021. So it's been about 16 months now that we've been sailing continuously without break in the Galapagos, because whatever the protocols were at different times, and they're always evolving, it has worked. We've never had a serious outbreak on board. We've never had to shut the ship down. She has been in continuous operation since June 18th of 2021. This ship was designed and built for the Galapagos. So her water treatment systems, taking into consideration where we are in the Galapagos. Her stabilizers, or they are azipods, and they're GPS azipods. So when we don't want to drop the anchor for fear of damaging the coral and for fear of damaging the seabed, the captain puts these thrusters in place, and the computer moves the thrusters as need be to keep the ship exactly in position. So innovations like that, because of where we are, where this ship operates, because she was designed specifically for the Galapagos and only operates in the Galapagos. As a result, this sort of tailgate that you see, when the ship is stationary, this drops down. When she's moving, this comes up, just like a tailgate. And this helps you enter the marina area. So there is no pier in the Galapagos that's large enough to accept the ship. It's not that the ship is large. The ship is only 50 suites. And there are 3 or 4 ships like this in the Galapagos. That's the maximum that the government of the Galapagos allows, which is 50 suites. But there is no pier, and they're not about to build one that is large enough. So everybody and everything comes to this ship this way through this marina deck here. So whether it's the guests or their luggage or the provisions, everything arrives this way. So here you can see our guests disembarking, the Zodiac coming up to the platform here. There are always sailors up here on this platform, and there are always sailors and or expedition staff here to help you navigate those couple of steps up here onto this platform. Once you're up there, you go past the marina, you're into this area, which is what we call base camp. This is a museum, for lack of a better term. We have a partnership with the Royal Geographical Society, and some of replicas of Darwin's artifacts, Darwin's notebooks and sketchbooks and things like that are in these 4 museum display cases you see here. So a very traditional, sort of old school, old-fashioned way of looking at things and learning about the Galapagos. And you contrast that with this, which is a very contemporary, very modern way. This is basically an iPad, a lectern with a giant iPad in it, and full of information about the Galapagos. And anything you pull up here is portrayed here on this floor-to-ceiling, wall-to-wall screen. So you've got the traditional and you've got the much more contemporary way of looking at it. And this is a way of exploring even when the ship is moving or when you're on board. So you can see one of the guides, again, it's Jason, talking to his group of guests. Very small groups, 8 to 10 people per guide. They're about to go out on an excursion, and he's talking to them about where they're going to go, what they're going to see, and just giving them a bit of a sense of how it's all going to play out. This is the Explorer Lounge. So our formal and informal lectures take place here. And the bar in the Explorer Lounge, and then there's an exterior section of the Explorer Lounge. So just to give you a sense, this ship is absolutely stunning. We just had a group of travel advisors on this ship last week. One of my colleagues hosted them, and they all came back, and they're all raving and all over social media posting photos about their experience on the ship. The observation lounge on deck 7, so a beautiful library and a great place, sort of 180-degree views of the Galapagos. And one of the design concepts on this ship was that anywhere a guest is, they should be able to look outside. So you can see here in the dining room, huge windows. Up in the grill, this is up on deck 7, an open air area where people can dine at lunch or in the evening as well. If it's not too chilly or too windy, they'll close these glass partitions to make this a little more comfortable. A cooking class done by the executive chef. Just lots of common areas and great open spaces to always feel like you're in the Galapagos. The food, most of it sourced in the Galapagos as well, organic from local producers, amazing food. All these open areas up on deck 7, and you can see every suite has a balcony as well. So I'll show you some of the suites. Some of them, the Superior Veranda and the Medallion Suite, have what's called an infinity balcony. So this big picture window drops down halfway, and then you can pull this curtain on the left all the way across and create a balcony in that space. This is for people who want a little more space in their suite, because sometimes it's described as your suite is 400 square feet and your balcony is 50 square feet. People would rather have the whole 450 square feet inside. So that's fine. They can do it this way. And if they want to feel like they're on a balcony, lower this window, pull this curtain across, and you'll hear the ocean and you'll feel the breeze. So very, very contemporary, modern styling, very beautiful, light, bright, airy, very modern. There you can see the window is down in the Medallion Suite. The Silver Suite, just different suites with, decorated differently, different sizes, all the way up to the owner's suite. In some cases, the bathrooms and the whirlpools and the showers are right at the edge of the ship, and there's a special glass called electrostatic glass that when you press a button, it frosts the glass and no one can see from the outside. But when the ship is navigating, and there wouldn't be anybody outside anyway, you can have a shower looking out through this window, again, with the whole Galapagos in front of you, part of this design concept so that guests are always looking out at the Galapagos. The Royal Suite, like a small apartment with about a 90-degree balcony, and then the owner's suite has a 180-degree balcony. All right, let's move on to talk about the experience. There are 2 itineraries that we operate in the Galapagos. They both start and end on the island of San Cristobal. And they don't differ significantly. They're different enough that you could do them back to back and never visit the same landing site twice. So, and we have many guests doing that, particularly post-pandemic. People feel cooped up and tired of all of this, and they're saying, if I'm going to the Galapagos, I'm not going for a week. I'm going for 2 weeks. And they book back-to-back voyages, and it's fine because they will never visit the same place twice. They may visit the same island twice, but not the same beach or the same landing site on that island. So the itineraries differ enough in that sense, but they're similar enough that all of the main species that our guests are interested in seeing, the blue-footed boobies, the giant tortoises, the marine iguanas, the Galapagos penguins, sea turtles, sea lions, all of those visible in abundance on both itineraries year-round. There is no bad time of year to go to the Galapagos. It differs from year to year, or excuse me, from time period to month, let's say, throughout the year. There's a warmer, wetter, more humid, more muggy time of year from January through May. And then June through December, it cools off, it's drier. The ocean temperature gets a little bit cooler. But again, there's no bad time of year to go. The activity level, we really try to gear it to whatever our guests are looking for. There are places where we will, or landing sites where we will go to, where the expedition team will say, listen, you've got a choice of 5 things to do this morning. You can go on a short beach walk and just hang out on the beach and plunk down on a towel. You can do a longer hike over to the other side of this island where we're going to go see different species of bird. You can go sea kayaking, you can go snorkeling from the beach, or you can go snorkeling from the Zodiac for more advanced snorkelers. So as many as 5 different options in one location. So something for everybody. If you're not feeling particularly rigorous that day, you don't want too much activity, then just do something very, very calming and casual and not too strenuous. And one of the things that I always remind people is there is an option to stay on board the ship. You don't have to do these things. People feel compelled to, because when am I going to go back to the Galapagos? I've come all this way. I'm going to do all of these activities. But the ship is absolutely stunning. And as I said, every suite has butler service. So why not order breakfast in bed one morning and have a real lie-in, hang out on your balcony and watch the Galapagos and watch the comings and goings of the Zodiacs and the guests. So that's an option too. Again, just to get a sense of how we get into and out of the Zodiacs at the stern of the ship at this big platform, I can show you a quick little video of how this is done. So you don't stand up in the Zodiac, you scooch along this pontoon on your behind, and then you stand up and the guide will help you get onto those steps and off the Zodiac. And then there's a sailor waiting at the top of the platform. And I think we see it one more time. There's the sailor's grip. And this is just to ensure everyone's safety. So really straightforward. Just about everybody can do it. Sometimes we have to do a wet landing. So this is when the tide is headed out and we get to one of our landing sites, we just ask our guests to swivel their legs 180 degrees from inside the Zodiac to outside the Zodiac. And then you just stand in about 6 or 8 inches of water in your water shoes, and you will have been advised the evening before and again in the morning, this is a wet landing, dress appropriately. Some people take dry shoes to change into on the beach. Some people just walk around in their water shoes. This is a dry landing where we literally put towels down so that guests do not have to step in the water. So we really, really take care of everything. This is how pristine it is in the Galapagos. 97% of the Galapagos is undeveloped. No roads, no cars, no buses, no marinas, no yacht clubs, no jet skis, no motorboats, nothing like that. Just virgin beach. 97% of the Galapagos is like this. This makes it an ideal place for kids because parents can let them go and they can wander around the beach. None of the wildlife that we see are interested in harming us. We don't pose a threat to them. We don't hunt them. We don't eat them. So we just coexist with them in the islands, and they don't care that we're there. We're just observing them. And again, for that reason, it's a wonderful destination for kids because parents don't have to worry about, and grandparents don't have to worry about that one of these animals is going to chase the kids. They're not. And the expedition team are always there to give guidance as well and say, hey, that's a young sea lion pup and her mama's not far away, so don't get closer than that. You know, if the mama feels that you're threatening the baby, she'll come and charge at you and let you know. You can easily get out of the way in time. But anyway, the guides will talk about all that sort of thing. And all of these images of the wildlife, these are not staged. This is how close you get to the wildlife. It's like an open air zoo, an open air living history museum. So for keen photographers as well, it's incredible. Sometimes the terrain that we walk over are boardwalks, and it's very flat and very even and very easy to walk. Other times, and here it is at the top there, the viewing platform. Other times we're walking over these lava fields, and it can be very uneven and quite rugged. The expedition team will explain this to you the night before. This is what the walking is going to be like tomorrow if you choose to do this hike. So they go through all of those activities again, and you can always ask questions. Again, none of it's a forced march. The guides are there to interpret and to explain things along the way. So anytime someone asks a question, they'll stop and talk about it. How did the lava form? Why did it form this way? And they know enough about many, many different subjects that they can answer those questions. Small groups always, 8 to 10 people per naturalist. Even in the Zodiacs, nice small groups. And this is another way to see the wildlife. So the activities are all the ones I mentioned: snorkeling, hiking, sea kayaking, Zodiac cruises as well. So that's all in a morning, right? There might be 1 or 2 activities in the morning. And then come back to the ship, have lunch at the grill or in the main restaurant, and then head back out again in the afternoon when you may choose to go kayaking and do another short walk. So you're off the ship for between 3 and 4 hours in the morning, and you're off the ship again for between 3 and 4 hours in the afternoon. We provide all of the gear. There's no extra charge for the kayaking, for the snorkeling, for any of these activities. It's all included. We have all the snorkeling gear, the wetsuits, the fins, the mask, the snorkel. It's all waiting on board. Everyone gets a mask and snorkel. It's theirs to keep. Everyone gets a backpack and a water bottle, theirs to keep. And the snorkeling is spectacular. It's not warm, and it's not lots of corals and tropical fish, but sea lions and sea turtles and Galapagos penguins, and in abundance. It's really fun snorkeling. And the sea lion pups are like puppies. They want to play with you. They come and tug on your fins, and they swim right up to your mask, and they dart away at the last second. So it's a lot of fun. There are some fish, but again, it's not tropical. These are spotted eagle rays. I had about 50 of these right around me when I was sea kayaking there in September. It's absolutely gorgeous. So penguins at the equator. Who would have thought? So this is deep water snorkeling. This is for people who are more comfortable in the water. There might be a bit of current. You're going to have to haul yourself back into the Zodiac when you're done. So, and again, always this will be explained to you and what the sort of activity level will be. These are marine iguanas, endemic. So this just speaks to the fact that there are endemic species. There are species in the Galapagos that you will see here that you cannot see anywhere else in the world. Blue-footed boobies, giant frigate birds, and birds of any type, or many, many types, I should say. A wonderful destination for birders, for wildlife lovers in general. These are Nazca boobies, so there are 3 species of boobies: blue-footed boobies, red-footed boobies, and Nazca boobies, Nazca. This is a species of owl that we find on one of the islands. The giant tortoises, you'll see these in the wild, but you'll also see them at a breeding sanctuary. Here they are in the wild on a coffee farm that we go and visit. And if you didn't believe that dinosaurs roamed the earth before, after you visit the Galapagos and you see these guys, you will believe that at one point dinosaurs roamed the earth. And then a beautiful sunset, or the sun setting behind you, and the gorgeous color on this iconic rock called Kicker Rock, and a cocktail when you get back from your afternoon activity, then to the Explorer Lounge to have that recap and that briefing, that meeting where we talk about what did we do today and where did we go and what did we do and what are we going to do tomorrow and how should you dress and how strenuous is it going to be. There's the backpack and the water bottle that I mentioned that everyone receives. In the Galapagos, unlike all the rest of our ships, on all the rest of the Silversea ships, the bath amenities are either Bulgari or Ferragamo. But here, the Galapagos government wants us to work with an Ecuadorian company, so we work with stuff that's locally made. And the sunscreen and these conditioners and body lotion, shampoo, shower gel, it's all waiting for you in your suite. And the sunscreen is reef safe. So you don't even need to worry about bringing sunscreen with you. It's already waiting there for you. And the beauty is it's reef safe. It's not going to harm the environment. We will send you a packing list. It's a very informal trip. People are in sandals and t-shirts and shorts most of the time. There's really only one dress code guideline on this voyage, and that is no jeans at dinner. Everything else goes, especially during the day at lunchtime. You're in your shorts and sandals and t-shirts. We don't expect you to change for lunch and then change back into your shorts and sandals and t-shirts to go back out for the remainder of the day. So very, very casual. That's everything I have, and we can open it up to questions if you like, Ted.
Yeah, why don't you guys that are working with me, some of my travel experts are going to help with that. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm Roxanne from Cruisin with Ted. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Karl, that was so great. I definitely want to get to the Galapagos. I just want to share with everybody that Cruisin with Ted, we're part of a signature travel network. And just to let you know, right now on the, the door-to-door, which one's the Karl? Is it port to port that includes the airfare? Sorry, I'm blowing your mind.
Door to door. So literally from your door back to your door.
Right. With our signature right now, the door to door, we have $500 off per person on top of what Silverseas is offering on their rates. And some of our voyages, we have signature amenities that will give you onboard credits. So just wanted to share that with you guys. And Ted, are you ready to share some of your slides? We didn't have any questions in the chat, but if any of you guys had any questions.
Christy, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself too? Christy's one of our agents, and then I'm going to get ready to share my screen in just a second.
Sure.
Christy,
hi, everybody. So I'm Christy with Cruisin with Ted, and I'm just going to piggyback off of what Roxanne said. Well, first of all, I also want to go to the Galapagos. It's on my bucket list. And just what Roxanne said is that we're currently offering $500 off per person for the door-to-door option. And, you know, just what also there's onboard credit because we are affiliated with Signature Travel Network, which is our consortia. But if you have any questions, you can reach out to either me, Roxanne, or Ted. Our emails are right right below our faces on the Zoom. And, you know, we love to answer questions, help, guide you and, to choose the best cruise for you.
All right. Thank you, Christy. All right. I'll take it over now. Can you see my screen, dear fellow travelers?
Ted, excuse me one sec. I just saw a question in the chat.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it refers or it's in reference to seasickness. Common question. The beautiful thing about the Galapagos is that archipelago of islands. We're always in and amongst the islands, so the weather predominantly coming from the west, and there are two big islands there, Fernandina and Isabella, that break up any big swells and anything like that. So we rarely feel any big swells, and we sail between the islands at night. So during the day, we're always off the ship. We're active. We're tucked in behind some little cove, some little bay, some little inlet where it's quite protected. And when we do sail at night, or excuse me, during the day, it's a short distance between two landing sites, so not a big deal. The longest navigation we did in September, I think, was 6 hours, but the navigation started at about 9 or 10 p.m. So we sailed at night. Most people are gone. You don't see anybody. These are busy days. They start early. So, dinner's over around 9:30, 10 o'clock. You'd be hard pressed to find anybody in the bar. They're in their suite and probably getting ready for bed because they're back up the next morning at 6:30. So the long navigations take place during the evening. There was one night where I came back from dinner. There was a little silver tray on my pillow with a note from my butler saying that the captain said it may get a little wavy tonight, and here's a seasickness pill if you're inclined to take it. So they take care of you. They think about everything, and it's not known for being a destination that is rife with big surf or big waves. We're taking a Silversea cruise in June. Is there a Silversea loyalty program? There is. It's called the Venetian Society. And as soon as you sail with us once, you become members of the Venetian Society, and every subsequent voyage to that, you accumulate the number of nights you've sailed with us, and at different tiers, you're entitled to different savings, Venetian Society sailings that are unique to the Venetian Society members and where there are extra savings there. So they'll explain all of that once you're on board, all about the Venetian Society. Go ahead, Ted.
All right, thank you so much. And then, by the way, Karl Kannstadter, he is overall in charge of expedition sales, and he's been on many expedition cruises himself. So we're honored to have his presence today. Thank you so much. And of course, our partnership with Silversea is amazing. So talking about the Galapagos Islands, this is one of my favorite destinations. Years ago, I came across an old book in the library called The Voyage of the Beagle, which is actually a story or a book that was presented by Darwin of his adventures when he went to the Galapagos, and actually and other islands and places as well. This actually was a 5-year journey that Darwin took. Darwin was put on the ship as someone who might know something about some of the areas they're going to. Karl, how long what do these cruises take? Karl's actually muted.
They're 7 days.
Okay, so instead of taking 5 years, it's 7 days. So it's it's an expedited way to see the Galapagos, right, Karl? Now, what's amazing about the story with Darwin and going there is when he got to the islands, a lot of people thought, well, he had the origin of the species. He originally came up with this idea, but that's not actually true. But he did spend some weeks, a good measurable time on the islands. But one of the things that he noticed was, and he took samples of species, and this twigged on him later, was that every island had its own type of species. So if you have tortoises, one island would have a specific type of tortoises, another island would have a different one, and that's why he twigged on this origin of a species. It's a very interesting story. So if you have time, look up some of his books, including The Voyage of the Beagle. It's an amazing story. Now, I want to let you know that as fellow travelers, it's really nice to enjoy working with people who love to travel in style. We hope you'll find comfort and security in working with some of the most experienced and well-seasoned agents in the industry. As a gratitude for your loyalty, we always strive to offer something extra, exclusive perks, special touches, exciting travel bonuses, and more. So cruisinwithted.com, we've been proud partner of Silversea since the turn of the century. And we're here to ensure that your upcoming vacation is both seamless and memorable. Our travel experts have an average of 25 years of experience. 100 different trip packages we offer. We have over 50,000 travelers well served. Client satisfaction is up the roof. Okay, so please tell your friends about us, and you call us when you need help with a vacation. One of the things we offer, which differs from other agents, is we have special perks. As Roxanne mentioned earlier, we have extra perks, extra discounts, extra cabin credits. Another thing we offer is a private car and driver experience. What does that mean? That means you're going to have your own private tour in a luxury car taking you around to a location. Okay. You're going to have exclusive shore excursions. You're going to have shipboard credit, and you're going to have hosted sailings where you have your own welcome reception. Okay. It's only available exclusively through Cruisin with Ted. If you look on the right here, here's an actual 7-night Adriatic cruise, okay, on Silversea, and it gives you the options of a private car and driver, highlighted tour. It's worth $750 per couple, or you can take $600 shipboard credit. It's a hosted sailing, okay, so you're gonna have somebody there that represents us to serve as your concierge on the cruise. So these are just some of the things we offer. We offer insider tips, okay? When you sign up for our newsletter, there's our website, cruisinwithted.com. Go on there, sign up for our perks. These are special articles we've written about Silverseas. We have a Silversea Cruises Facebook page. We welcome you to go on there and join us. We also have a Cruisin with Ted Facebook page. So on our Silversea Facebook group, we have over 2,000 followers and 3,000 followers on our Facebook page. We also offer all the cruise lines and all the different travels that you can take. And we have over 22 different Facebook groups with over 37,000 followers on Facebook, okay? And here's information on our social media, Facebook page, Cruisin with Ted, Facebook group, Silversea, and email is hello@cruisinwithted.com, and there's our website, cruisinwithted.com. And here's our team Ted. Okay, we've got Carolyn, Waffle, Christy, Mary Pat, Roxanne, and there's myself. There's our phone numbers. There's our emails. Okay, we're going to provide a video recording of this as well on Cruisin with Ted Facebook page, and also in the Silversea group. Okay, so that's Team Ted. If you want to take just a minute to write down the numbers. And like I say, this recording will be available later. So if you need help, please contact us here. There's my phone number, 954-290-8626. My email is hello@cruisinwithted.com. And there's our website, okay? So I wanted to thank you for attending today. Carl, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, thank you very much. I think we covered everything, but if anybody has any questions, reach out to the folks at Cruisin with Ted, and they'll reach out to me, and I will try to help. Thanks for coming.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Keep cruising, and go on our website, go on our Facebook page, go on, just get out there and see the world, okay? That's what it's all about, right, Carl?
It is. It's time to go back.
Thank you. Happy sailing.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.